Hello and welcome. I'm Kirsty and I'm going to be your trainer today. We're going to do a full body exercise session, which means that we're going to use a lot of muscle groups. This is low impact, so it should be suitable for kind of everybody. And also, if you live in a flat or you're upstairs in your bedroom rather than me in my living room. So it means it's adaptable and works for everyone. Hopefully, we're going to have a bit of a sweat, really get some mobility into the joints, and where we're all working from home potentially, or maybe not having as much movement with kind of things that are going on. You can use this during the day to break up your day if you're having some breaks, or use it as a workout in itself. So I think really important just to have a little bit of movement. Again, a lot of these can be done body weight, so you aren't going to have an awful lot of equipment, and any equipment I will do is from the home, so it should be easy to hand, so fingers crossed. I'm just going to do some health and safety stuff. I know, boring. So just make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing. So I like to wear my leggings and my top. Just make sure you're wearing supportive footwear too, because again, even though we're inside, we are going to be doing some of these movements where it's a requirement that you just make sure that we don't want any accidents, essentially. So the other thing to do is grab some water, always handy, because if you do get a bit of a sweat, and it's always useful to be hydrated anyway, so never a problem there. Also with that, so I'm not going to be going through a warm-up today or a cool down, so just make sure you do those. So a warm-up can be just a little bit of an elevation of your heart rate, get some of the suppleness into your joints, bit of movement, maybe some star jumps if you're feeling a bit energetic. Otherwise, just kind of jogging on the spot. So it doesn't have to be manic, but it does have to be something to just get that heart rate up, which I think is important. So if that's the case, I will go on to the equipment list. So again, nothing too fancy. So we've got a towel, not overly necessary, but it will come in handy later on. Tins, so what I have done is gone for chopped tomatoes, and they're the same weight. So just make sure that whatever weight it is, they are the same, preferably. Then I've got a backpack, which I've put loads of my junk in because it makes it a bit more heavier. But then also what I've done before this session is got a scales and just measured the weight of the bag. So if I was to do reps and sets, I can monitor that over time. So that's always useful. I know scales are not the nicest thing in the world, but they can be quite handy occasionally. What I would say is, if you don't have a scales to hand, a typically good measurement is 1 litre of liquid is about 1 kilogram. So if you've got a 2 litre bottle of Coke, that's 2 kilograms, half a litre, the small bottles, and it's really eco-friendly. So you can reuse the bottles, fill them with water, have a drink of the water even through the way through. So can really adapt that for more eco-conscious. You haven't necessarily got to throw them in the recycling, and because they're plastic, they'll last for ages. So you don't have to buy any fancy equipment, essentially. So let's get on with the exercise. How exciting. So my first one is a squat, which is my favourite. A good thing with the squat is it works a lot of muscles, so and a lot of joints. So it'll work your quads, your glutes, your core, and it'll give you mobility with the knees and the hips, and really work that kind of posterior train, which is what we really want when we're all sat all day hunching and kind of not moving so much. So with a squat, you typically want to have a tight core. So again, bring your pelvic floor in, belly button into your center, really kind of the bum. And then what you want to do is stand roughly hip widths apart. Again, people's hip anatomy can be slightly out, so I like to stand with my feet slightly pointed out. But it just means what you want is that you sit back, you don't want your knees going over your toes. So just make sure that this is comfy, have a couple of goes yourself. So what we're going to do is a body weight squat. I like to put my arms out because it just gives me a bit more stability. So what you want to do is sit back. So you want to come down and then back up. Down and back up. And then if that feels like that's a bit too hard, because it is a lot going on there. So what you can do is get a seat or a sofa, which I'll show you now, is you can, if you sit back into it, so you can see from my side, core in, nice and tight, sit down, and then back up. So you're really supported by the chair then. If that is a bit too much and you need a bit more help, again, you can sit onto the sofa. You can use the hands to kind of help push you up a little bit. So you can use a bit more of the upper body to support your lower body. Really good functional movement. you know, getting up off the sofa, to go into the bathroom, to getting in and out of a car, or, you know, on a bus, etc. So really great exercise. Now, if that's too easy, which is well done you, what you can do is your weighted backpack is put this on your back and then do the same movement, but now with the added weight. So it just means you can come down, back up, down and back up. So it's really important, you know, as you go over time, you can add some more weight to the bag, you can add some more reps, sets. So what I typically aim for is reps between like 5 and 15, and to do a couple of sets. So, but again, listen to what your body's telling you. Stop if anything feels painful, and please check with a clinician if you are unsure of the workouts, whether they're suitable for you. So please make sure you get the right advice, but otherwise just stop if anything does feel too painful. Now what we're going to do is a push-up next. So that's why I've got the trusty towel. So it's not necessary, but I like it to go on the ground because I don't want to put my face on the carpet. I'm not telling you much about my cleanliness at home, but it's okay. It's just, I don't think it's very pleasant. So what we're going to do is a push-up from the knees. So what you want to do is put your knees slightly back, just away from your hip. And then what you want to do is have this like plank position, really strong core, and then really pull the elbows in. So you've got really tight, and then keep the feet on the floor. And then what you're going to do is go down and up, down and up. So, you know, really good work, core, arms, everything. So it's a really great workout. So that's a bit hard because that is really hard. You can do a box push-up. So that's where you want to stack the knees under your hip and put your arms under your shoulders. So just a bit more supported, there's not as much weight. And then it's kind of the same movement. So you want to go down and up, down and up. And there's also nothing wrong with if you started on your knees going into box after. So really feel what your body's doing. If that's too easy for you, again, well done, because it's really hard. You can do what's known as a full push-up. Now this is really quite hard, but completely doable with some practice. So you want to put your legs out, so you're in a strong plank position. Really bring those elbows in. And then what you're going to do is go down and up in a straight line. Again, really great triceps, you know, your shoulders, your back, core. So those two workouts, like you said, I'm a bit out of breath already. So, you know, it's good. So again, a couple of sets and reps of those. Again, listen to your body. If you're doing, you know, 5 and then 3 sets, and then just progress over time. Maybe you can jump up to the progression. Maybe you can add some more reps, more sets. So I think just listen and see how you get on. Progress is progress. Nothing to be ashamed of if you're starting at a box, because that's where we all had to start, and I had to start. I couldn't have done that full one before. So I think it's really important. So everyone can do it. Just take some practice and building up some strength. So now we're going to go on to some arm exercises. So we've started kind of working our way up the body. So what we've got is some tinned tomatoes. So I can make my lunch after this, which is handy. So what we're going to do is an overhead press. So grab the tins, and what you can do is you want to have like cactus arms and push up. So yeah, really great shoulders, core, keep that core tight, so you're really bringing the power through. And then if that's a bit hard, you can just do it without. So again, this great movement, really keep the back tight. You know, really keeping that core nice and straight, really strong. Then you've got a lat raise. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here and then come up and down. Now don't overdo it by doing that. You don't want hunchy shoulders. What you want to do is keep it nice and relaxed as much as you can with having a bit of work, and down. And then what we're then going to do is do a front raise. So with a regression, you can do all of these individually and without weight. So great movement, especially even if you just sat at a desk, just to really give some movement, especially if you've been hunched over. What you can do is do the weights and do them individually. If you want to have a bit of a progression, you can either up the weight, so maybe some bottles of Coke, or put all 3 exercises together. So what's known as a tricep. So you can go up, then into a lat raise, then into a front raise. Again, just make sure you're keeping that core tight, you know, keeping the movement through the arms and the joints, and again, really feeling that it will burn your shoulders when you do three of those exercises together. If that feels a bit much for you, you can sit on the sofa and do the same movement. So you can even do it while you watch telly. So that's always handy in the evenings. And then just lift and lift. But make sure you're sitting upright. It's going to be a bit more core focused because now you've got rid of those legs. But again, really great and can be done whether you're sat down, especially if you've just done squats and push-ups and you're thinking it's a bit much. So I think it's really important. So that was the workout for today. So 5 exercises. Again, you can do them all together, do them separately. I think it's really important to see how your body feels, and each week kind of whether you progress with weight, add a few more repetitions in, a few more sets. And after that, I would definitely say have a drink of water, and make sure you cool down. So again, you've probably got your heart rate up. So again, keep it nice and calm. You know, do some stretching. You want to stretch out your glutes, your legs, your upper body, ready to just go back into your normal day and re-lengthen those muscles, especially after you've worked really hard. So good luck for your rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed that, and let me know how you get on.